Meeting of the Finance Committee to order. In attendance,
Trustee Burke, present.
Trustee John Kern present.
Trustee Panito, present.
Okay. Consider the approval of the minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held on January 29th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Discuss engagement letter with Sikich LLB to conduct the annual financial audit of the village for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2019.
Thank you, John. We did an RFP a couple of years ago for audit services, and we selected Sikich LLP as our provider. Obviously, with each annual engagement, there's an engagement letter that they require us to sign. This is just initiating the audit process. And the fees that they're proposing are in accordance with what had been with their proposal. This is, I believe, the third year of a 5-year proposal.
Okay. Do we need any formal approval of that, or?
Just recommendation.
Okay.
It'll be on the board agenda. to
Okay, so
authorize.
we approve it to move to the
Yeah.
board agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second. All in favor? Aye.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay. Review the, I'm sorry. Yes, review March 2019 financial report.
Thank you, John. I previously distributed the monthly financial reports, the most recent of which is for March, which is the 11th month of the fiscal year. Just going to run through some of the highlights of that report. Sales tax for the month was actually reporting December activity. A little bit of a disturbing trend in sales tax in that December sales were down comparative to the prior year slightly, and that was the fourth consecutive month of sales being less this year than the prior year. We are watching that closely to see if that's indicative of a potential recession or other slowdown in the economy. We're hoping not, but for the month, we had a little more than $1.25 million of sales tax was received. Was slightly less than last year at $1.3 million. Year to date, we have received $13.4 million compared to $13 million in the prior year. So year to date, we are still ahead in sales tax from the prior year by about $331,000. The home rule sales tax follows a similar pattern to the main sales tax. Was down for the month of December by about $6,000. Year to date, we've received $5.5 million compared to $5.25 million in the prior year, so we're up about $242,000. Use tax is one of the taxes we receive by way of the state on a per capita basis. That was up for the month by about $23,000. Year to date, we've received $1.6 million compared to $1.4 million last year. That has been consistently up for most of the year, and that is largely due to the Supreme Court ruling on the Wayfair case that said internet basically saying that internet sales could be taxable, and so a lot more businesses are collecting and reporting sales tax on those internet sales than we have in the past. Income tax was up slightly for the month and is up about $300,000 for the year to date. Property taxes are pretty much on track. Video gaming continues to increase over the prior year. $429,000 received through March compared to $338,000 last year. And as a reminder, the video gaming revenues are being earmarked towards the Downtown Plaza project. Motor fuel taxes were basically break even for the month of March, and year to date, slightly better than break even, just about $5,000 ahead compared to last year at the same time. Commuter parking continues to be volatile. March parking was down about 3% compared to the prior year, and year-to-date is down about 2%. Following the narrative portion of the report, you have a kind of a visual dashboard of the revenues and a comparison of the of key operating funds, the general fund, the water and sewer fund, commuter parking, and the hotel tax. The key takeaway from that comparative report is that the gap between revenues and expenses are stable or widening in the current year compared to the prior year. Following that are the trend line reports of key revenues, which all are continuing to follow their expected trends. Nothing of particular note there. Following that, you have a more detailed report of breaking down the general fund revenues and summarizing the general fund expenses by departmental areas, and then also a recap of the revenues of the water and sewer fund and commuter parking. And then the last page in the report is just informational with the impact fees that we have collected on behalf of other governments. And through the end of March, we have collected $21.7 million on behalf of school districts, park district, and other entities from new development. And that is the report.
Very good.
Thank you. Excellent report. We'll receive comments from the public. Let it show that no one from the public wished to make any comments. I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Good evening. I'd like to open up the Economic Development and Marketing Committee meetings. Members present, Trustee Berg.
Trustee John Curran.
Trustee Mike Benito.
Item number 2, consider the approval of the minutes of the Special Economic Development and Marketing Committee held on February 26, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 3, discuss Oak Park Avenue grant for Cynthia Seacott Veterinary Clinic of Tinley Park, 17745 Oak Park Avenue. I believe Patrick's going to address this. We have 4 grants. Is it?
Yes. Thank you, Trustee Berg.
Thank you.
Cynthia Seacott is the owner of the veterinary clinic of Tinley Park. This is a building that's directly south of Bailey's on Oak Park Avenue. I think the slides will show that this building could use some TLC, and she's got some great plans in order to do that. The grants were designed for buildings just like this one. It does have code issues. It's going to be used to do a sprinkler system upgrade, put a new facade on it, take advantage of the sign grant, and also landscaping. So this is going to be a total remodel of this building. I think she's got it up. And so incentive policy-wise, though, this project will not create a burden on the village, and it's also in a location with the New Britain TIF, so it meets our target development area incentive policy. And also when it comes to the strategic plan, it's also the number long-term complex tier 1 and also economic development strategy number 4. And so the recommendation is going to be a motion to approve 250 facade grant, a 4,433 sign grant, a $5,000 landscaping grant, and a 33,627 code compliance grant, for a total of $58,310. Now, these are matching grants, and each business can get up to $70,000. So Cynthia's combined all 4 of these in order to do this remodel.
Very good. Dr. Seacott, is that you? Hi, thank you so much. How old is that building?
I don't know.
Thank you for taking on the effort. We really appreciate that. I think it's probably 40, maybe 50 years old.
That's a Brad question.
Probably the mid to late 1970s, I believe.
Now, we are talking Tinley Cantonese, right?
Yes. Yes,
So-
quite frankly, that's the origin of the building, yes.
But the before and after photos really show what she's going to do with it,
Yeah.
and it looks really nice.
Beautiful, thank
And there's
you.
also going to be a 2,000 square foot space on the end that's going to be available too for development.
Excellent. Any questions from the board?
Beautiful.
Looks very nice.
Good.
Comments? Thank you. All right, I guess I can make a motion to put it on for the board meeting next Tuesday?
Second?
Actually, it's tonight.
It is on
Tonight.
tonight?
Yes.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah, we're trying to get tonight.
my bad.
So make the motion.
Anyone can motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I did, so.
Well, just, you have to revise the motion for
I
tonight,
will,
right?
definitely, discuss, I'd like to place the 4 grants on for this evening's board meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Item number 4, discuss citizen survey. I think Donna's going to take this one.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to, tonight I bring forth a recommendation to, that the village enter into an agreement with the National Research Center, which is a survey research and evaluation firm that focuses on public sectors. We would like to do a community assessment survey. So this would be a statistically valid survey, and the results would provide us a very clear data-based picture of our residents' needs, and then allow us to benchmark ourselves against other similarly sized communities and other regional communities. So the cost is $17,435. It's a 4-month process, and the results would provide us some custom benchmarking opportunities, as well as it includes the full facilitation of the survey and the sample selection, the printing, mailing costs, the geocoding, programming. And we would also put it on the do a web-based version as well. So that's what I have in front of you right now.
How often, we did this 3 years ago?
We did
Was
a
what we were-
similar type survey 3 years ago. However, we didn't do the benchmarking portion of it, so we just sent out the survey.
And is there any reason why that wasn't, Dave, were you here then, or anybody?
Yes,
Any
yeah.
particulars on that?
Yeah, this was, when we did this 3 years ago, it was the first time, I think, the village has done it, or at least in a number of decades. And so I think the thinking was, let's at least do this. We actually, a lot of the questions that were in that survey we took from this national survey, and we're able to do it ourselves. Obviously, it was cheaper, but I think as Donna said, you really, to get the value out of it that you need to have comparatives. And because it's not just about, well, our fire department's doing great, public works is doing great, but how great are they doing compared to, the Orland Parks and others of the world. So that's why this is, I think, really important to have this comparative data, even though it is more costly to do it this way. So,
Will you do the benchmarking against communities in Illinois and also national?
Yes.
yeah,
Great.
yeah. They'll find communities of similar size and demographics, and then they'll give you a whole, once it's done, they'll give a whole display, and it'll be kind of like a nice presentation, and something that we'll be able to share with you.
So the last time you did a little hybrid approach and used the in-house marketing but it
Great
didn't
way of
really do a
putting it.
national
Yep.
comparison?
Yeah, yeah.
Per se,
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
It's hopeful that this will help us with our strategic planning moving forward and all the data.
And what's the difference between that and the ESRI? Are they used interchangeably? Patrick, maybe you would know.
Well, the ESRI data
It's
is,
a little different.
yeah, it's a little bit different. You use that whenever you're looking for background on, it's overall just demographic data, where this is gonna be like one-on-one personal data. So it's gonna be direct feedback from our citizens compared to just more projections.
Very good, thank you.
So how are we going to use it? What are we going to do with it? Did we
Well,
get
I
it
mean,
done?
it will have information about, we're gonna ask residents to rate us on services, from village hall services to, all the departments. If there's questions on, ways we can improve things, and so, I think as Donna mentioned, what we'd like to do is the strategic plan that you guys were involved with is starting to get near the end of its tenure anyway. Is to be able to use that data to find out, here's what our residents are thinking, where we think we do well at compared to other towns, where we need to improve, and that will help us develop our priorities for the next several years. So there'll also be some optional questions that we can ask outside of the whole process, and that's something that we're, once the board approves this, we'll develop some of those and kind of let you take a look at that too. And so there may be some things that we want to ask that are not on the standard survey that we can ask also.
So we'll have some input on the final product before it goes out?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
whoever?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So what's the duration of how long it's valid for? Would you say 3 years is the,
Well,
Since we're doing it 3 years
you know,
now.
there's some towns that do it more often. Some towns might do it every 5 years. I think 3 is just a good number. I think gives you enough distance where, you know, if there's an issue, hopefully in one survey, it gives you enough time to correct it. And so 3 years is how I've done it in a couple other towns. I think that's a good benchmark, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So moving forward, what's the plan with this one? You want to take
Need
it
a
to?
motion for approval, it will be on tonight's meeting,
Not tonight.
not tonight's, in the next meeting. So,
Tuesdays.
okay.
We're off kilter. So I'd like to make a motion to put the citizen survey on for next Tuesday's board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 5, discuss Chicago Southland Interstate Alliance intergovernmental agreement. I believe Patrick's going to address that for us.
Thank you, trustee Burke. This one was a creation of the local mayors, the mayors of Mokina, Orland Park, and Tinley Park. They all realized they have vacant land surrounding the I-80 corridor, and they thought it'd be better to go out as one and market regionally than sell locally. And so we thought if we combined our efforts and tried to showcase the workforce that we have here in all 3 communities, we see that a lot of the people that live in Tinley Park actually work in Chicago and the surrounding areas. So if we could try to find out what the industries are, where our talent is going to, and then trying to attract those companies out here. Actually, one of the members is with us today, Jeff Jennings, is actually part of it as well, representing Anduit. And so what we're wanting to do is put together a website and some marketing material, so whenever we go to the shows, we'll have our own, individual communities' information, but we'll also have one for the region as well to try to market to more office and textile. So what we're asking for is $10,000 from each community as kind of a seed money, so it'd be $30,000 just to create some marketing material to send out. And I believe Orland Park has already agreed to this, IGA, and I think that Mokina's got it in the pipeline too. So what we're looking for is an approval to take this to the board next week. And then, yeah, it also matches a long-term complex Tier 1 and economic development strategy number 8, and that is to work to attract businesses with good-paying jobs by Panduit headquarters and the other locations along the corridor.
Patrick, I had a question on the Tinley Park one. Does it show like the corner of where the Public Works is on this map? Page 95, I think it is.
I know which one you're talking about. I think that it is south of that. There's a large chunk of land, it's the Dugan property, that's right behind, directly north of Panduit. So the borders that we're looking at are 191st up to 183rd, all along
Okay.
I-80.
Thank you. I was looking at it earlier, I'm like, it's hard to read sideways.
Oh, it is, and it's also hard to try to map out. Dave
Everything's
discussed this
sideways to
earlier.
us.
That's a long corridor to try to put into one graphic.
So do we have the most mature section of I-80 that's already developed?
Yes.
Compared to the other 2 towns?
Yes.
So what's in it for us?
By far. Well, whenever you think about the region as a whole, you want the whole region to be healthy. So if Orland does attract more office over in their area or development, they stay in our hotels. We have a nice hotel corridor. We also have a nice area of some distribution and some manufacturing along there as well. So it's really a goal to work together to do this. The more people that we have working in our area, the more they're going to spend in our area and eat in our restaurants. And like I said, stay at our hotels. So it is a big group effort.
And the seed money, so the 30,000 will be every year? Is that going to be an annual thing? How's that, just a startup cost?
That's the concept, 10,000 apiece, and hopefully we're going to go out and attract some more investments from some of the other businesses that are along there who are going to benefit as well.
So it's not really capped
Not currently, no, we're just asking for 10,000 to start.
to start?
And it's
Okay.
not just the communities contributing, you have businesses contributing also.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and they're going to solicit communities, and there is something, if you read in the agreement, that once the balance falls below 10,000, they could come back to the communities for additional funds, so, my sense is in the projects they're doing, this is not gonna be a big expense, initially, but, and obviously, they always have the ability to opt out of these, agreements too, there's a 30-day clause, but I think it's a good partnership.
Sounds good. Any questions, guys?
Sounds good.
Michael's quiet over there. All right, well, I'd like to make a motion to place the Southland, the CSIA intergovernmental agreement onto the board meeting for next week.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 6, discuss Panduit incentive request. I believe this is Patrick again, right?
Yes. Thank you, trustee Berg. For this one, on the east side of town, on Panduit's former area, they just demoed the building. And a part of that, what we're trying to do is be proactive with this development and come to an agreement to reimburse them to do a Phase 2 environmental study whenever there is increment created. So at the moment, they are working with someone to do a project out there, but the goal would be that whenever, if this project does fall through, either way, anyone that goes on there is gonna need this Phase 2 done. So being that it's a TIF reimbursable expense, we would just like for them to go ahead and do it, and then once there is increment created, they would have first shot at receiving that increment, and then there will probably be another incentive, whatever that development's going to be. But for this one, this has been outlined as something that's inside the legacy TIF that it identified, and it's also on our incentive policy checklist. As far as it won't create burden, utilizing existing village infrastructure, and then also it is a long-term complex tier 2 and economic development strategy number 9 to redevelop the Panduit TIF site. So it's the 45 acres that's out there on the east side of town, and being that it is a TIF eligible expense, we're asking for this one to be actually put to Monday's Economic Commercial Commission. We wanted to bring it to you guys first just to get your feedback before we took it to there
Okay.
and then drew up.
I was just going to say, when, did it go there, but it's not there yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So the Phase 1 was done when? Do you guys remember? Recently?
I do not remember when the Phase 1 was done.
Will it include the ABC also?
No, but that will be in talks later on.
It'll need its own study?
I don't know if, I don't think ABC would.
Okay,
This is just for Panduit's portion.
thank you. Any questions, gentlemen?
And this is Panduit doing this?
Yes.
And
It's Panduit
We
performing
use-
the study,
where-
and then whenever there's increment generated, we would rebate them for the study.
which might be a different developer,
Yes.
right? Okay. But at least this helps kickstart that project.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
You're not asking us to approve anything, you're just saying you want to send it to the Economic and Commercial Commission, who will give us their feedback, and then at some point it'll be on the board to decide
Correct.
whether to approve.
Correct.
So you don't really need a vote.
Right.
I think you're just looking for the
No, they don't.
consensus
Yeah,
that we're in agreement with it.
yeah, I think we wanted to bring it to you guys, let you guys know, because then ultimately, if it gets past the ECC, it will come to the board. Any feedback, let you know about the project, but no, we don't need a formal vote on this.
Maybe a different board then, you know what I mean? I don't know how much,
Right.
No, and this is, it's the first real expenditure out of this TIF.
yeah, and that's another thing that, probably better that they deal with it.
Yeah.
See where they're at on it.
Excellent. Alrighty. Anyone in the audience wish to address the board at this time? Let the record reflect that there is no public comment. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Special Economic Development and Marketing Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, what's next? Committee of the whole.
You need that